Tuesday program, but a day early.
Rushed, not rushed. What are you talking about? You definitely didn't just have to run and sit down as the billboard was playing.
I just ran in. If you're watching on Wrnr TV, our YouTube channel, or on TV 10, you may have just seen me run in and out.
I hadn't
of the
started
room.
the stream yet. Don't worry. Nobody
Nice.
saw the very acrobatic leap into your chair.
If they didn't see it, they're hearing it because I'm out of breath from running up and down the steps. So I'll let you take the rest of the first segment as I go get oxygen.
Oh, come on. You're not that old and that out of shape.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate that. That's like the first compliment in a long time from you.
Usually I'm calling you the old man, but no, you're fine.
Well, we are tonight going for 2 hours. Normally we would go an hour and/or about an hour and a half. That would lead into Nationals baseball, but the Nationals are playing even as we speak. At least I think they are, unless there's rain in the D.C. area.
As far as I know, they're still on.
Yeah, and so that game was supposed to throw out the first pitch at about 4:05, so we'll pull that up on the TV, see how the score is going in that one. We've got some Nationals baseball to talk about, including a highlight and comment from last night's win as Max Scherzer sets a new personal best and does something that not a lot of Major League pitchers get a chance to do. So we'll talk about that coming up. Of course, this is it. The Nationals play their final home game today, off tomorrow as they travel, and then 3 in Colorado, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the Major League Baseball season for the summer of 2018 is done.
For the Nationals.
Yeah, well, for most teams, because now we're down to the playoffs. So you'll see the wild card games first, and then those winners advancing, which will lead into division series, and all of that fun will get started next week. So what's rushing things this week? High school football. Well, really, the Buckwheat Festival, because high school football has Hedgesville at Preston, and in Preston County, it's the week of the Buckwheat Festival. And so they say, hey, Hedgesville, come on up. Let's play a game at 1 in the afternoon and make it part of our fun festivities. And Hedgesville says, heck yeah, let's do it. They did it a couple of years ago when the two teams played there. It went well, and so they're headed back again, and we're going to follow them and make every effort to bring you the broadcast on TV 10 as well as Talk Radio WRNR, so you can listen, and if you get a chance, you can even watch the broadcast tomorrow, 12:30 the pregame, 1 o'clock the opening kick. So that means tonight we're going to go ahead and stay on the air till 7 and preview all of this Friday night's high school football, something we would normally do on Thursday. Now, there will be no Miller time on Thursday, and the reason for that is our travel. In the midst of coming back home from Preston County after wrapping up that game, it would be a little difficult to stay there that long in their own facilities that they'll be closing up to go enjoy the rest of the Buckwheat Festival. So we're not going to be able to do Miller time from there, and obviously we'll not be able to get back here in time, so there will be no Miller time tomorrow evening.
You just don't want to drive fast enough. We could get here. You just like, obeying the speed limit and obeying the law.
As much as possible. That's the goal. So then we'll be back on Friday night with our regular schedule where we'll have Miller time at 5, pregame at 6, and high school football at 7 with Martinsburg at Washington.
So you'll be down there. I'll be here.
Yes. Back to our regular routine where you will be hosting and bringing us scores and updates and highlights at halftime and in the postgame.
Guessing a lot of Martinsburg highlights.
More than likely.
Yeah.
This certainly looks to be a lopsided game.
Yeah. Again, nothing against Washington, but
it's just the reality of the situation.
You line up, and games aren't played on paper, but you can get an idea of how games are going to go on paper. And on paper, this isn't really going to be a ball game.
So we've got plenty to talk about. Musselman at Morgantown, that looks like a pretty good ball game. Spring Mills at Boonesboro looks like a pretty good ball game. Jefferson, a bye this week. I'm assuming it comes at the right time, right in the midpoint of the schedule, but it probably doesn't come at a good time when you look at the way they lost at Kaiser last weekend.
Yeah, they were up by 3 scores, so 24-7, I believe, was at one point the score. Or it may have been 21-7. Either way, it was at least a 2-touchdown lead they had at one point, even into the second half. and Kaiser just came, and they came on strong in the second half, and Jefferson just couldn't add. They didn't need to add on to they didn't need to duplicate their first half, but they just needed to get into the end zone a couple times and just couldn't do it. And unfortunately, their struggles continue. What is it, 16 straight now for the Cougars?
16 in a row. 0-10 last year. Of course, a loss in the playoffs the year before, which is the amazing thing. They went from a playoff team to an 0-10 team.
You don't see that happen all that often.
And now still looking for their first win this year, so that's 16 straight losses. So we'll hear from head coach Craig Hunter coming up in just a bit. We'll talk a little more college football as we get towards the Friday show. We'll hear from Dana Holgerson as the Mountaineers get ready to take on Texas Tech, and we'll hear from Ernie McCook Friday as Shepherd hosts Concord for homecoming at Rams Stadium. We'll be there.
We will.
Looking forward to the homecoming festivities, some tailgating before the game.
Have you ever been to the homecoming parade?
I have not, because usually when we were doing the game broadcast, we would try to get there before the parade to make sure we got where we needed to be.
Make sure you could get in?
Yes. So
I've never been either. I just didn't know if it was something that throughout your course at Shepherd or...
I guess we'll see it together, right? What time is the parade?
I don't know what it is. It's not in front of the lot we tailgate in.
Ah, okay.
So it's on German Street. So it's on Main Street there in Shepherdstown, and we're one street back.
They won't bring the parade over just for us?
Apparently not. We did see the Ram get walked by our tailgate last week, though.
We did. Have I ever told you my friend got to goose the Ram?
The Shepherd Ram?
The Shepherd Ram. Yeah, several years ago, a good friend of mine, I won't give you his name so no one can ever accuse him of goosing a ram, but he came with me as part of Media Day. And so I said, hey, man, I had someone that was planning to come. Things didn't work out. We had the extra seat, so to speak, representing the radio station. So I brought a friend along who's a football fan, and we get there just about the time that the Shepherd Ram was getting there. And I don't mean the mascot that someone dresses in. I mean the guy that Shepherd Ram.
The animal.
And they were pulling him out of the trailer that they bring him. And, of course, back then, there wasn't the tunnel that went underneath of the road to get from the west to the east side of the campus. You had to actually look at traffic both ways and dangerously at times walk across the road. So we were
That's not a busy road or anything. What are you talking about?
No. We were on that west side of campus, and so as we were parking and they were getting the Ram out, we stood there for a few minutes talking with the folks that own the Ram and bring him to the games. And so we get ready to cross the road, and the Ram did not want to cross the road. And we were like, is there something we can do to help you? And the owner said, yeah, goose him. Excuse us? Yeah, get right up under his tail. Wow. And sure enough, you goosed a Ram, and he went across the road in a heartbeat because...
you would, too.
That's it. Whether you're an animal or a human, you don't want anyone messing with your backside. So my friend goosed him. I had my hands full, which was nice. So, but yep, goosed him right across the road, and they were able to then get the team pictures and a few individual shots with the Ram.
Now, was this the friend we had wings with Monday night?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good to know.
So you'll know, but nobody else will. But so there's my Ram goosing story.
Not many people have a Ram goosing story.
No.
Or at least in that way. I mean, maybe there's a Ram and a goose in the same area, but not that kind of Ram goosing story.
Not at all. So we'll look forward to a homecoming down at Shepherdstown. Maryland has a bye this week.
They do.
Do you like this bye going into the Michigan game?
I mean, I don't think it matters, to be completely honest with you.
Seriously?
Nah.
Not at all.
Maryland's improving, but they're not. They're still not. The Big Ten, when they made that move, when Maryland fans looked at basketball and went, all right, it's probably right about an even switch. I mean, you have the Ohio States, the Wisconsins, the Michigans, the Michigan States, where in the ACC you had Duke, Carolina, NC State certain years. Yeah, you have your powerhouses and your guys at the bottom. Football, everybody went, because you got to play Michigan. You got to play Michigan State. You got to play Ohio State. You got to play Wisconsin at certain times when, I mean, they've been good recently, but they've been up and down before that. And you're watching going, this is not going to be fun. And so far, it hasn't been fun. I mean, the games have been just flat ugly.
What, 35-10 Michigan gets the win over Maryland last year?
That was a very bad showing by Michigan last year.
So the final score maybe not indicative of how much Michigan controlled that game? Or
2 years ago, I believe the combined, because it was Michigan and Ohio State back-to-back weeks. I don't know who scheduled that and why it was a good idea. But the combined score is 120-6 over a course of 2 games. Again, Maryland's improved since then, but they're still, I don't see them giving Michigan any sort of trouble.
Both teams are 3-1 right now.
Yeah, but you don't see Michigan going out losing to Temple.
No, but they did lose in their opener in a very big game. I mean, it was Notre Dame, but...
Yeah, Notre Dame's a little bit different than the Terrapins.
Yeah, so...
And I can say that. I'm a Maryland fan. I can say that, but I'm not thinking it's going to be too good.
The game is at Michigan next Saturday. That is the 6th of October, so Maryland on a bye this week. So we'll let the Maryland Terrapins enjoy that off week.
Enjoy the win against Minnesota. Very good win against Minnesota, I may add.
Yeah, the Golden Gophers still over.
Yeah.
Not so golden.
No, they're not over.
I thought they were.
No, Minnesota was like 3-0 going into that game.
No way.
Yeah.
They were 3-0?
They're either 2-1 or 3-0 going into that game.
I'll have to look at my stats.
Yeah, they had won some games.
Maybe I messed something up there.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you more credit than I was ready to give you. Well, we also have to talk a little volleyball because yesterday we had on Volleyball Phil from Bunker Hill. That's our version of Financial Phil as Phil joins the morning program with Rob and Dave. He joined us as the PA announcer for Musselman as they had a big match against Hedgesville last night. How did it play out? We'll tell you next as we talk with Musselman head coach Sean Martz. Stay tuned for more Miller Time.
Honda-certified pre-owned vehicles go through a 182-point inspection before they're sold. But it wasn't always 182 points. It used to be more, like point 253, where every previous owner goes through an extensive lie detector test.
Nice Civic.
Thank you.
So, where were you and it the night of February 5th, 2017?
My parents' house for a barbecue?
Bring any leftovers into the car with you?
Yes.
Foil or plastic?
Both.
Well played. You passed.
Or point 210, the dog hair interrogation.
Nice Accord, Mark. Bet you thought you could fool us, huh? What's this Labradoodle hair doing in the back seat?
It's probably from my friend's clothes. They have a dog.
Sure it's not your dog's hair?
I don't have a dog.
Oh. Then you passed.
You can see why we cut it down to 182 points. Visit HondaCertified.com to check out our latest certified pre-owned inventory from KBB.com's 2018 Best Value Brand.
Miller Honda, south of Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. www.mymillerhonda.com.
Based on 2018 brand image awards from Kelly Blue Book. Visit KBB.com for information.
Saturday after an incident at a Minnesota hotel. He was not arrested or charged with a crime. The Vikings told Griffin last Thursday he could not return to practice until he got a mental health evaluation. Griffin will not play when the Vikings play the Rams Thursday live on NFL Network, but Dalvin Cook might. The Vikings back is questionable for the game after being out last Sunday with a hamstring injury. Rams corner Aqib Talib is out with an ankle injury, while Marcus Peters will be a game-time decision with a sore calf. Elsewhere, the Packers will sign free agent corner Rashad Breeland, and the Titans are adding QB Austin Davis. In the meantime, the Bucs play safety Chris Conte on injury reserve, while the Saints expected to do the same with corner Patrick Robinson. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
I used to post to job boards.
Only to sort through tons of resumes.
Just to find a few candidates for
my sales team.
My hair salons.
That old process was not smart.
Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology scans resumes for me to find the right people.
And actively invites them to apply.
So I get qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's ZipRecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please call this toll-free number right now. 800-390-9528. That's 800-390-9528. By calling your addiction team, you're taking the first steps to recovery. The help you need could be one call away. 800-390-9528. Make the free call now. 800-390-9528. Your addiction team is a third-party advertiser for various treatment centers and placement networks. Individual results will vary. Visit youraddictionteam.com/terms for more information.
EPTA
EPTA invites you to take advantage of their rider programs, the $5 all-day pass, the monthly pass, and the Get a Job, Get a Ride program. Visit EPTAWV.com for further details and come ride with us. This message brought to you by EPTA, the Eastern Panhandle Transit Authority. For schedules and rider information, visit EPTAWV.com. EPTA serves Berkeley and Jefferson counties.
Take the bus, come ride with us.
Simply free e-checking from City National Bank. Perfect if you want basic checking with no monthly service fees or balance requirements. Stop by any of our 7 Eastern Panhandle locations or visit us online at bankatcity.com. City National Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road.
As we welcome you back into Miller Time, Matt Crawford and Matt Miller with you. And I need to give the advice, if you like the tune to this song, there's a comedian by the name of Tim Hawkins. I played it for you the other day. You have to look it up online. Look up Tim Hawkins, and the title of the song is Things You Don't Say to Your Wife.
I appreciate you showing me that because that was hilarious.
It goes with the tune to this song, and then he adds his own fun lyrics. And so
and they are fun.
They are. Just giving you that as something you might listen to and enjoy later in the evening. It's time for us to talk volleyball. Yesterday, we had Phil McCoy join us. Does the PA for Musselman.
Financial volleyball Phil from Bunker Hill.
There it is. And he said, I think Musselman has a little too much for Hedgesville in this one. He kind of looked at it as maybe a 3-1 match, 3 games to 1. It didn't turn out that way.
No, not quite.
Yeah, Musselman actually found themselves trailing 2-1, but rallied for the 3-2 victory as they get the win in arguably one of the top matchups in the Mountain State. As Phil pointed out yesterday, Hedgesville, a very strong program, made it to the state tournament last year along with Musselman. And so these two teams having some really good matches here locally. We caught up with Sean Martz earlier, the Victorious head coach for the Applemen, and asked him, first of all, what he saw in his team rallying to get the win.
Just saw, they weren't getting rattled. I knew, we knew Hedgesville was tough coming in. We knew it wasn't going to be an easy match. So, I just saw a bunch of kids that, were determined not to get beat on their home court, especially by a crosstown rival like Hedgesville, a very solid team. So I was proud of the fight they had and the resilience they showed.
What was it that kind of turned things around for you after falling behind by a set?
We just talked about, hey, we got to stay aggressive and we got on our serves, and we got to be a little bit better in serve receive, especially the couple rotations where they got a couple 4 or 5 point runs, and we really weren't getting very many multiple point runs. So we just focused on not allowing them to get some big runs and us getting a few more, and I think that was kind of the difference in the last 2 sets.
How would you compare Hedgesville to the competition you had seen earlier in the season?
They're good. It's kind of tough to compare. We've been playing some really good out-of-state competition. They're not quite on the level of some of the teams we've been facing, but they're certainly a very good team.
So how have those matches that you have played against that tough competition on the road in tournament settings prepared you to be able to have the resiliency and everything that was needed to have a comeback win?
We haven't been very successful in the few deciding set matches we've had so far. We lost in 5 to Loudoun County at home, and then we lost a 3-set match in the deciding set in Tennessee, and then we lost another 3-set deciding match in Kentucky this past weekend. So we knew we were due to, we were close in all those matches, so it was nice to see him pull through at the end on that one. So certainly, that tough competition, that's kind of why we go to all these out-of-state tournaments. We know we're going to take a number of losses out of state, but we just think it's going to make us a ton better for when we come back in state and play.
So what comes next for your team?
Well, we go over to Jefferson for a trial match tomorrow with Washington and Jefferson, and then ironically, the week after that, we have Washington and Jefferson again in 2 individual dual matches. But then we go to a very tough tournament in State College, Pennsylvania, the following weekend.
When you talk about those tournaments, is it hard to be able to blend in the tournaments like that during the course of your season, or do you find that to be kind of an easy way to fill out what might be considered your non-conference schedule?
We're so used to doing it every year. Sometimes the travel does get taxing for both the coaches and the kids. But I think you think steel sharpens steel, and, we feel like we've got to go out state and get that competition, and so we'll be a lot more prepared when the postseason comes for in-state competition.
Coach, thank you for your time. Good luck through the rest of the year, and we'll talk again soon.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Matt. Appreciate it.
There you hear from Sean Martz, head coach of the Musselman volleyball team. A dynasty in their sport in the fall, every bit as much as the dynasty we've seen from the Martinsburg Bulldogs in football during the fall. And when it comes to volleyball, the Eastern Panhandle is the place that it is played better than anywhere in the state.
And I thought it was funny, or not funny, I just thought it was interesting listening to him, because I asked him the question in there, how do you compare Hedgesville to teams you've seen so far this season? And you could tell he was kind of thinking about how he wanted to say that without putting Hedgesville down. But while it's Musselman, you can't argue they're, if not the best team in the state, one of the best teams in the state year in and year out. It sounded like to him that the competition when you get outside of the state of West Virginia, it seems to pick up a little bit.
Well, and especially the tournaments that they play in, because as Phil McCoy pointed out yesterday, they tend to go to what are like best of the best tournaments. So in order to be in a particular division in a tournament, you had to have won and or maybe played for your state championship the year before. So, they go outside of the state and make these trips to play that tough competition, all in a way to prepare themselves for what they want to ultimately achieve, and that is that strong postseason run and another state championship. And you got to admit, it has worked.
Yeah, I mean, what's the phrase? To be the best, you have to beat the best. And when you're playing quality competition, that even if you have to go out of state to get that competition, then if that's going to help you win within what matters to you guys, which right now for the Musselman volleyball team is winning state championships in West Virginia. If going down to Virginia Beach or going to Kentucky is going to give you that slight edge when you're playing teams within the state that aren't playing that tough a competition, then that's what they got to do. They're doing it well, and they're succeeding with that method right now.
There it is. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the volleyball season as it continues, and Musselman in particular. Hedgesville, as we heard from Phil McCoy yesterday, that Martinsburg program doing well also as we continue through the fall season. Again, we'll continue to get a chance periodically to talk to those coaches and bring you what's happening in volleyball. All right, we've got a break coming up here at the bottom of the hour. We'll have news and weather. We'll have an NBC Sports Radio update. Of course, our regular feature, tomorrow's date in sports history. And then it's Pick'em Day. We have 6 games in the NCAA, 6 games in the NFL. Right now,
not very good ones. I will say it's not a great week in at least the NFL when it comes to quality games.
College looks good. I'm seeing at least, 4 ranked matchups. That
I didn't include ranked matches. There was 2 ranked matchups on the West Coast, but because neither you or I know much about the teams on the West Coast, I figured I might as well at least add some teams around here that may not be top 25 matchups.
You haven't been staying up till 3 a.m. most of Saturday nights into Sunday mornings to watch those Pac-12 games?
I do every now and again, but a lot of times watching football isn't on the itinerary when I'm up that late on a Saturday night. But
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But no, there's still some decent games on the college level, but not sure how good the competition's going to be on the NFL level this week.
Yeah, especially as I look at a couple of these games that you have chosen for us to choose.
Caleb and I sat down for about 10 minutes and had to really look and go, okay, what could it lead? And a lot of these are based on storylines for individual teams in those matchups, which you will get a lot more of when we actually break down these matchups.
And that is coming up after we take this time out. Stay tuned for more Miller Time on Talk Radio WRNR.
CBS News special report. President Trump is blaming Democrats for orchestrating a sexual misconduct allegation campaign against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh.
They're actually con artists because they know how quality this man is, and they've destroyed a man's reputation. and they want to destroy it even more.
A third woman has come forward to say she was gang raped at a party attended by Kavanaugh and his high school friend Mark Judge, which both of them deny. At a news conference in New York, the president was asked if he would consider abandoning his nominee.
There is a scenario under which you would withdraw Brett Kavanaugh's nomination. Is that correct?
If I thought he was guilty of something like this, yeah, sure.
Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer.
I strongly believe Judge Kavanaugh should withdraw from consideration, and the president should withdraw this nomination if Kavanaugh won't do it voluntarily.
CBS News Special Report, I'm Pam Coulter.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
We've got some showers around this evening, but they are coming to an end gradually, especially after midnight. Looking at lows of around 55, 56 degrees or so first thing tomorrow morning. A cloudy, cool day for tomorrow. Later in the afternoon, some more showers arrive, and we look for a high near 67. Periodic rain tomorrow night, lows in the mid-50s, lingering showers Friday morning. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
Hello, this is Joe Manchin, and growing up in my hometown of Farmington taught me that people matter more than anything else. I've never cared what political party anyone belongs to, as long as they'll work with me to help West Virginia. I've been meeting with clergy and faith leaders all over West Virginia to talk about health care for people with pre-existing conditions. Patrick Morrissey's lawsuit would take away these protections. 800,000 West Virginians have a pre-existing condition, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, asthma, and cancer. Losing health care would be devastating for so many of our people. Patrick Morrissey is dead wrong, and he just doesn't know West Virginia. As West Virginians, we look after one another. That's why I'm also fighting for a strong military, for secured borders, keeping our promises to our veterans and minors, and to protect Social Security and Medicare for our seniors. I'm Joe Manchin, candidate for the United States Senate, and I approve this message.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
Let's do NFL injuries first. Alshon Jeffrey cleared for contact, so good news for the Eagles. Also good news for the Jaguars. Running back Leonard Fournette was able to practice today. He has not been able to play in the last two games. Evan Ingram of the Giants going to miss about 2 to 4 weeks with an MCL sprain. Aqib Talib needs surgery tomorrow on his ankle. No timetable for his return. Marcus Peters still not officially ruled out for Thursday night's game, so we'll see what the Rams do there. And the Patriots are putting running back Rex Burkhead on the IR, so bad news gets worse in New England. Clemson senior quarterback Kelly Bryant, he is leaving the team, will transfer. Trevor Lawrence is now the starter. And over to baseball, the Blue Jays are parting ways with manager John Gibbons at the end of the season. I'm Keith Irizarry, and this is NBC Sports Radio.
You've been injured, you're missing work, the medical bill collectors keep calling, and the other person's insurance company wants a lot of confusing paperwork signed and returned. At Ferretti Law Office, we handle these situations to protect your rights and get you the compensation you deserve. We explain how the insurance coverages work for your benefit and what a lawyer like me can do to make a difference. Call Ferretti Law Office at 264-8505 to schedule an appointment to discuss your situation for free. At Ferretti Law Office, we're here to help.
WVU Medicine is pleased to announce the addition of orthopedic surgeon Dr. Craig Clark to the Jefferson Medical Center staff and WVU Medicine Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Dr. Clark joins Dr. Bradford Wright and the team at WVU Medicine Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, offering leading-edge, full-service orthopedic care. Both board-certified orthopedic surgeons specialize in total joint replacements and general orthopedics, as well as sports medicine. For more info, call WVU Medicine Orthopedics and Sports Medicine at 304-725-2663.
And we welcome you back into Miller Time on this Wednesday evening, a 2-hour edition, as we'll be previewing the high school football games coming up tomorrow and Friday. More on that in just a bit as we'll get into those high school football previews momentarily. But first, we need to check out not yesterday, not today, but tomorrow's date in sports history.
Taking a look at the 27th of September in sports history. Not a good day to go watch a baseball game in 1881. The Chicago Cubs beat Troy, I'm guessing Troy University, It's the only thing I can think of is Troy University. Cubs won that game 10-8 before a crowd of, guess how many? 12.
12?
I don't know how they're, counting. I guess in 1881, they're still counting attendance, but 12 people attended the Chicago Cubs beating Troy 10-8 back in 1881.
At least it was easy to count. Hold on. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly.
5, 6, yeah. Was that 11 or 12? No, it's 12. Definitely 12.
1919, Babe Ruth hits his 29th home run of the season. It was in D.C. at Griffith Stadium against the Washington Senators. And in 1919, Babe Ruth is the first person in the same season to hit a home run in every single ballpark.
Every park he played in that year, he hit a home run.
And it took basically the entire season because he finished it up tomorrow in sports history on the 27th of September at Griffith Stadium in Washington.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Tomorrow's date in sports history, 1923, the New York Yankees' infamous slugger Lou Gehrig hits his first career home run. I'm guessing it was a late call-up. Looking at this time of the year, probably a late call-up for the minors.
Sure, they're going, I think this kid could be good.
Yeah, maybe. Again, he only got to play because the guy in front of him got injured. Never forget that.
And who was it?
I know you're going to ask me that.
Wally?
It was Wally Pips?
Pip? Yeah, there you go. Wally Pip.
Yeah, because coach has always told you that.
Right.
Hey, you better be injured, not just hurt, because and they would tell that story. Okay, well, I guess that broken leg doesn't hurt too bad. Just kidding. Moving on down the list, 1973, Nolan Ryan strikes out 16 in an 11-inning game for his record 383rd of the season. That's important for what we're going to talk about with Max Scherzer a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Who barely got close to that milestone last night. In the same vicinity, but not even close. 1987, the NFL player strike begins. We were talking about that. It was on September 21st was the 1982 player strike. 1987, the second player strike. Again, another Redskins Super Bowl season.
All right, with the way the NFL is going right now, what's it going to be? Will it be a strike, or do you believe a lockout by the owners, or will there be a new collective bargaining agreement and the season go without any interruption? I think it's, 2020 when that's due. So we got here in 2018 and one more season, but sometime either during or at the end of the 2019 season, will there be an interruption in play?
With how stubborn and childish the owners and the players are, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a gap in when there was football.
I'm anxious to see how the rest of the season plays out with attendance and viewership on TV and all of those things, to see where it goes. It was going down last year. If it continues to go down, I wonder if both sides will at least look at it and go,
okay, we got to do something
we
together
can't
here.
do this.
Yeah.
Because I think if it continues to be on the downward slide as it has been, they may shoot themselves in the foot by either side going, all right, we just won't play. Because I think a lot of the public is going, fine, don't play.
If there was a lockout, that would cause serious issues.
Now, so do you think a lockout causes more issues than a strike? So the issue becomes who will fans blame? The lockout, obviously, they blame the owners.
I think a strike has more impact with fans leaving the game.
All right. Hey, back to tomorrow.
2005, on September 26th in sports history, the Atlanta Braves clinched their 14th straight division title thanks to the Philadelphia Phillies losing to the New York Mets.
And once again this year, it's the Braves winning the East.
2008, Greg Maddux wins his final start of his career, win number 355.
He was great. I mean, just dominant.
Nice of him to start really putting it on after he left the Cubs, but that's not I'm not bitter or anything.
You don't think he was very good with the Cubs?
He was good with the Cubs, but he didn't come into his own until...
Not see his potential future, or just weren't willing to give the money at the time?
I don't know what it was, but it was a bad decision, whatever it was. So that's what's going on tomorrow in sports history. Impress your coworkers, impress your friends, or just have useless sports knowledge on what happened in September 27th in sports history.
That leads us to what's coming up this weekend. College and NFL football. It's time for our pick'ems. We head into this brand new week with Matt Crawford still holding the lead. 26 correct decisions, 15 losses. Matt Miller, yours truly, the lovable. All right, I'll just stop. 21 and 20.
In the left corner.
I've climbed over the 500 mark, but still have some ground to cover to catch up. So let's start. NCAA, you've got WVU, Texas Tech. That's the 12 and 25 matchup as the Mountaineers hold on to that number 12 ranking. This is a tough call because Texas Tech is coming off a huge win over Oklahoma State, and they are racking it up offensively. Is that Mountaineer defense ready for the challenge?
And this was a game that nobody thought was going to mean anything at the beginning of the season. I think I'm going to go with Texas Tech. A game that's in Texas. WVU's offense is outstanding. I'm still not 100% sold on their defense.
All right, there you go. I'm taking WVU. I think the offense will score points, and I think the defense can get to that freshman quarterback and slow down that offense. Now, when I say slow down, I think it's going to be like a high 30s or 40 to 30-something type of game.
It'll be a Big 12 football game.
There you go. All right, so a chance for you to either pull away a little more or me to begin to catch up. Let's go Concord Shepherd. I don't think there's any question.
Heard.
Yep, all the way. Concord has really been struggling. Homecoming at Rams Stadium. Shepherd doesn't lose very often on homecoming. They don't lose often
or at home.
Yeah,
I was going to say at home, period.
All right, number 4, Ohio State against number 9, Penn State. Nittany Lions have the home field advantage. They have been a team that at times in games has looked like world beaters, and at times in the same game has looked like they could be beaten by the world.
Who are you taking?
Yeah, I don't know yet. I mean, Ohio State is awful good.
I'm going with Ohio State.
So I would lean that direction.
Is questioning is it's in Pennsylvania,
right?
But I still think
Happy Valley.
Yeah, I still got to go with Ohio State.
Man, I don't know. You're going to Ohio State?
I am. Going with the Buckeyes.
All right, I'm going Penn State. I'm going to be opposite.
Say, you're just trying to make up ground here.
Yeah, there's a chance to make up ground. But the last time I picked against Penn State, they made me pay for it too. Remember, we had them in a game earlier, and I went, "No, they're not going to." That was Pitt and Penn State.
Yeah.
And
well, you picked Pitt over Penn State.
Yeah, it's not a rivalry. It's all right.
But Pitt's not good.
Move on. Number 7, Stanford at number 8, Notre Dame.
The Irish all the way.
All the way because it's a home game.
It's a home game, and Stanford's good this year. I'm just not convinced they're as good as Notre Dame.
I'm going Stanford. I picked them the last time. They didn't let me down. They rallied to beat Oregon. I'm picking them. They're continuing to climb in the rankings. Number 20. Is that BYU at number 11, Washington? So you did go at least with one West Coast game. Yeah, that's what it says.
Maybe I didn't do the Oregon game. That's what it was.
Whoever wrote this, their Y looks like a V. I'm going, who's BVU?
BYU. the Fighting Mormons. It's hard to take BYU in these games. I'm going with Washington.
I did too. So we both have Washington. And that leads to Marshall at Western Kentucky.
Heard.
Me too. Marshall all the way. So there we go. Those are our college picks. Let's go to the NFL where you said, crap games.
They are.
Vikings, Rams, Thursday Night Football. You'll hear it right here tomorrow night.
Rams.
Rams?
Rams.
Rams all the way.
The Vikings just got shut out by the Buffalo Bills.
Which is why they'll probably come back and win this game.
Nah.
I just, that's the NFL right now. You don't know who's going to win.
Can I tell you how happy I was to watch Kirk Cousins and the Vikings struggle?
No.
That really made my day.
Don't tell me. I'm going with you. I'm going Rams. I
really like what Sean McVay's doing out there.
And they're at home. All right, let's go Ravens at Steelers, which we'll have for you Sunday evening. Coverage will begin at 6 o'clock with the Steelers radio network.
I think I'm going to go with the Birds here.
The Ravens?
I'm not really all that convinced the Steelers are that good this year.
Okay.
I think I shouldn't say not. I think their offense has talent. Their defense hasn't impressed me all that much this year. And maybe that's just me. Maybe it's because I haven't sat down and watched every single play. But their defense, maybe I'm just so used to the Steelers having a lockdown defense, one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Right.
But to me, the Steelers' defense hasn't knocked my socks off this year, so I'm going with the Ravens.
I'm with you. I'm going with the Ravens as well. The Steelers did what they needed to do to get a win over my Bucks on Monday night.
But barely.
But I was going to
score
say,
a point in the second half.
There you go. There's enough holes that are still there that I think against a good Ravens team, they will lose. All right, Browns at the Raiders.
The Raiders.
What do you think?
I'm going. Part of me thinks, all right, John Gruden's not going to go 0-4 to start the season, but I don't know if I'm ready to jump on the Baker Mayfield bandwagon yet.
Right. And it's in Oakland. I'm going Raiders. I know that's the route I'm taking. So I'll leave it up to you whether you're coming with me or going against me.
I'll go with you. I'll go with the Raiders.
All right, the Raiders. Let's go with Chiefs at the Broncos. Key West showdown.
I wonder if Mahomes has got to slow down at some point, right?
At some time, but I don't think he does against the Broncos.
I don't think he does either. I'm going with I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
All right, we're both chiefing it. Bucks and Bears?
The Bears.
Chicago?
Yeah.
What's the temperature in Chicago? Because Tampa never plays well if it's under 35.
It's still September.
All right, I think it's okay, so it's early enough.
I'm going with the Bucks.
Going with the Bucks?
Yeah.
Going with the Bucks. I don't know yet. That Bear defense is pretty good. And the pressure on Fitzpatrick in the first half was the difference for the Steelers. But the Bucks made their adjustments, did a better job in the second half.
And I haven't heard anything, so I assume Ryan Fitzpatrick is still the starting quarterback for Tampa Bay.
Read an article yesterday where they were keeping it hush at this point. They've made a decision, but they're not telling anybody.
I guess they don't want the media.
I guess, yeah, they don't want the circus. If Fitzpatrick doesn't start, I will drop the Buccaneers on the air on Monday, and my wife will have to take that shirt she just got me back to Florida.
Why would they keep it hush if they're sticking with Fitz? I feel like there's a lot more controversy and reason for media frenzy if they're going with Jameis.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know. We'll find out. All right, so we both took the Bucks there. That leads us to our final game, and that's the San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Chargers.
Without Garoppolo, the 49ers.
Yes.
I'm going with the Chargers.
Yeah, you and me both. Although I've picked the Chargers already this season, and they've let me down.
Going with the fighting Mike Hornbys.
So I'm looking at it and going, I have no chance to catch up because we both took the exact same NFL teams. My only chance to catch up is going to be on the college ranks where I went with WVU, you went with Texas Tech, I went with Penn State, you went Ohio State. I took Stanford, you took Notre Dame. Otherwise, the other three games were the same as well.
I just realized I can win this without even trying. I could just pick the exact same teams you pick every week.
Which is why, in some cases, I'm letting you pick first, so you can't just play that game.
No, I wouldn't. There's too much time left. That'd be boring.
All right, we got to talk some high school football. Let's have our first preview, and we may as well make it the preview of tomorrow's game, right? Hedgesville at Preston, part of the Buckwheat Festival. Game time 1, our pregame 12:30. Coming up next, we'll hear from Eagles head coach Joey Urish as we continue on Miller Time.
Workday passes like molasses in wintertime, but it's July, getting paid by the hour.
So, we have a diamond pendant for $1,000, and for 4 days, it's only $500. I'm Lori from Bechtel Jewelers. For 4 days only, half of the jewelry in our store is half price. Yes, 50% off for 4 days only. Wednesday, the 26th through Saturday, the 29th. I have a diamond band here. Normally, let's see, $795. And for 4 days, it's $397. I have jewelry everywhere. Half of all of our jewelry at half price for 4 whole days. Dave and I went on sort of a crazy binge. We said, let's give our customers a mind-blowing half off. But on what? Well, we said let's do half of our entire inventory for half price. Crazy? Yes. Take advantage of our crazy. 4 days only, half off, half the store at Bechtel Jewelers, Route 11 South, Inwood.
Hi, my name is Ed Floyd, representing the Central Church of Christ located at 90 Waverly Court in Martinsburg, and I have a special invitation for you. Alan Webster, author of Heart to Heart and House to House, the special bulletin published by the Jacksonville, Alabama Church of Christ, for which Mr. Webster preaches, is our special speaker. He is well qualified and ready to preach the truth from God's Word. If you enjoyed reading Heart to Heart and House to House, which was mailed to some of you for the past 5 years, you will respect his teaching, and God's Word will have its way into your heart. Our meeting is October 7 through 11 at 7 p.m., Monday through Thursday. Sunday morning Bible study will be at 9:45, worship at 10:45, and our evening service will be at 6 p.m. Some of his topics are 4,000 years in 40 minutes, God's plan for saving man, marriage and the family. Will you please come and be our special guest for all of these services? Thank you.
Appalachian Heating and Air Conditioning says,
if you're a hard-working man or woman, you want to get the best selection and value that you possibly can. We give you more for your money, and you know we're going to do your way.
24 hours a day, call Appalachian Heating and Air Conditioning, where quality meets comfort, at 304-260-5644.
Since 1877, Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies have proudly supported our local community. Farmers and Mechanics has the insurance products to meet your needs, including home, auto, farm, dwelling fire, business owners, and umbrella coverage. Please contact your local independent agency for a review of your insurance needs and ask for a policy from the company that knows you best. Farmers and Mechanics Insurance Companies, just off Edwin Miller Boulevard on Administrative Drive in Martinsburg. FMIWV.com.
A long, long time ago, I can still remember how that music used to make me smile.
And we welcome you back into Miller Time, going till 7 o'clock tonight. We do pause at the top of the hour for a little news and weather together, so that gives us time right now to begin our high school football previews. It's the Buckwheat Festival going on in Kingwood, which is the hub of Preston County in West Virginia. And as part of the festival, it'll be a Thursday afternoon, 1 o'clock kickoff for Hedgesville to take on the Knights. We're going to be there. Our pregame at 12:30. Hedgesville 4-1. Preston, they're struggling right now. They've dropped 4 straight after a season-opening victory against Hampshire.
And some down numbers and down in average age of each player. And one of the, which you listen to the pregame tomorrow, one of the things that their coach Jonathan Tennant was talking about was he views his team right now as a bunch of 13 and 14-year-olds playing a bunch of 17 and 18-year-olds. So when the coach is saying that, gives you a pretty good idea of the size, maturity, and overall skill level of some of their players.
Which means it could be a tough one against a talented and much more veteran Eagles team. Well, let's hear from Hedgesville head coach Joey Urish. They're coming off a 45-20 win against James Wood.
I thought it went pretty good. I think we called some turnovers against a very good James Wood football team. They were very good up front. They were coached very well. I'm going to miss playing those guys. They run the wing tee really well, and it's just a good football game for us.
Looking this week at traveling down to Preston, another Thursday game. Is this kind of becoming a habit for you guys?
No, I hope not. I mean, we released our schedule for next year today, and there's only one Thursday game on there as of right now. Now, if it rains every single day like it has this football season, we might be back where we're at.
I know trying not to look ahead to next year, but any big changes on that schedule? I know you mentioned that you're not going to play James Wood next year.
Yeah, we lost James Wood, Mountain Ridge, Preston. We picked up Morgantown, Brook, and Wheeling Park, and we also picked up Heritage out of Virginia.
Sounds like a tough schedule ahead. You mentioned just one Thursday game. You keeping that Thursday season opener next year?
Yeah. I think Glenn and I both like having that Thursday opening game so we can try to get a big crowd and everybody there.
While you are playing a Thursday for the third time already this season, this one is not a night game. It'll be in the middle of the day. Does that make any difference?
Yeah, it makes it a little tougher. Our guys got to get up, a little earlier, and we're going to be on the road for 3.5 hours in the charter bus. And, it'll be a good playoff implication for us because, we'll probably end up being on the road a little bit. So our guys will get to travel and get used to that kind of atmosphere. And it'll be exciting for them to play at 1 o'clock and then bring in like a college atmosphere with their town being their Buckwheat Festival.
Yeah, you guys did this 2 years ago. What is this experience like for you and your team around this Buckwheat Festival as this becomes kind of a centerpiece on Thursday?
we try to keep it as normal as we can for our guys. I know at Preston County it's kind of a big deal. They have a parade, and the kids get out of school, and there's all kinds of people throughout the community there around the game, and it really is kind of like a college atmosphere. There are people tailgating there and people playing over on their turf field. It was kind of exciting for our guys to kind of get that experience.
Preston's struggling so far this year. What do you see in the Knights, and what could make it difficult on Thursday?
The travel. I think that's the biggest, uphill battle for us there. They're very young, and they run the wing tee, and they don't have a lot of athletes, and they're kind of just struggling right now. Defensively, they run a odd stack, a 34 and a 42 look, so they're kind of trying to figure out what they're doing defensively as well. They've had a couple coaching changes there on both sides of the ball, so I think they're just trying to figure out their identity right now, and I think that's the biggest problem. They did get a couple wins this year, which is more than what they had last year. It's just our guys got to go down there and be able to perform and not have any let-ups.
You feel like you're playing back in the 30s, back-to-back weeks, you're facing wing tee teams?
Yeah. I mean, I always get a chance to call Coach Price and, talk to him about the wing tee. And, when I was in high school, I ran the wing tee with Coach Walker. So it's fun to see that stuff, still being around. And it's a very efficient offense. It's just you got to have the linemen and the athletes to do it. And it's when you have those, it's pretty exciting to play against.
This officially starts the second half of the season. 5 weeks now in the books at 4-1. And you're on the road a lot in this second half of the season. Give us a grade, first of all, at the midway point, and then look ahead to how big this game is starting the second half of the season.
Offensively, I'd give us about a grade of B. We had some turnovers that kind of killed us in the South Hagerstown game. Defensively, I'd say an A-. I think defensively we played really well this year so far, and we've had 6 interceptions called back. And our guys have played pretty well in all 3 phases. Finnegan Hall is right where I thought he would be at. And sloppy conditions every single week, he's still able to kick field goals and a bunch of touchbacks. So I think as a team, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're coming into the toughest part of our schedule with Musselman and Martinsburg coming in, back-to-back, and both of those games being away. And our kids are looking forward to the challenge.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck. We'll look forward to seeing you there Thursday.
All right, man. You'll have safe travels. We'll see you down there.
There you hear from Joey Urish, head coach of the Hedgesville Eagles in his 3rd season. And this begins, as he mentioned, the tough part of their schedule when you look not only at competition, but, Matt, they're about to play 4 straight games on the road before they come back home to host Spring Mills, and that game is on November the 2nd. They will not be at home the entire month of October as they have 4 road games coming up, then a bye week before Spring Mills.
The good news is they have a little bit of a cushion because of how, not the competition they're going to face, but their record going into that long road stay. I mean, obviously, you look back at that South Hagerstown game, and that's a game they would have really liked to have won and had the opportunity to win, but the weather making that a little difficult and just the circumstances of that game. So going in to that big road trip stint of the season undefeated would have been a lot nicer, but still, the record they have now and are most likely still going to have with that 1 loss after this Preston game, it gives them a little bit of a cushion to, not necessarily they want to drop some road games, but you're going to play some tough road teams, and it gives you still a little bit of fluff, I guess is the best way to put it, that you don't necessarily have to go out and win a bunch of those road games to make the playoffs.
Their lone road game so far, Mountain Ridge, that was in week 3. They scored a 42-7 win. The Eagles on the road tomorrow against Preston. Game time at 1, pregame 12:30 right here on Talk Radio WRNR, and don't forget on TV 10. All right, we take a break at the top of the hour. Stay tuned for more Miller Time.
Here is your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. He's accused of stealing a woman's car and using it as a deadly weapon. Earlier this month, 36-year-old Adam Domer of Martinsburg allegedly stole the 86-year-old's car and then hit her with it. Joan Staub suffered a serious head injury and died at the hospital. Domer was charged with murder, had his bail set at more than $100,000, and waived his right to a speedy preliminary hearing. He'll be back in court in November. He admitted driving the car but says he didn't steal it and didn't hurt Staubs with it. A minute change in gas prices this week keeps Martinsburg on top of the AAA East Central's gas price report at $2.93 per gallon. The cheapest metro area on the report was Parkersburg at $2.77. On average, gas prices are at $2.85 for the state. AAA also reported average gas prices are $2.61 in Maryland, $2.81 in Virginia, $3.05 in Pennsylvania, and $2.86 nationwide. I'm Adam Boardman, Talk Radio WRNR News.
Now, with your local forecast, weatherman Bob Kukin.
Some wet weather for a while this evening. Showers and scattered thunder showers. Temperatures dropping back to 55 degrees, though, by first thing tomorrow morning. A cool front comes through here late during the evening time, and the winds turn northerly. Showers end for a time, but late tomorrow afternoon they return. Much cooler weather for tomorrow with a high of only 67 and a little lingering rain into Friday. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
West Virginia high school football. Back to throw. Grant Harmon deep along the near side as a wide open receiver. Cello Tenneval at the goal line makes the catch. It's a Martinsburg Bulldog touchdown. They went back to Grant Harmon at quarterback. He quickly took the snap, looked to the near side, and Tenneval was well behind the defenseman. The Martinsburg Bulldogs are in Charlestown to face the Washington Patriots this Friday night with the kickoff at 7, our pregame at 6, Miller time at 5 p.m. on Talk Radio WRNR, your local leader in talk, news, sports.
Howdy, cowpokes. Do your business cards look like they were designed by a code roper? Well, this cowboy knows the advantage of dealing with folks the old-fashioned way. When you order printed material on the internet, you're stuck with what you get. But when you need printed material to look just right, you want to deal with folks you know. And that's what you'll find at Panhandle Printing and Design. Local folks that have been delivering results for years. They can help with everything from design to production of stationery envelopes, business cards, invitations, vinyl signs, banners, vehicle wraps, and a lot more. They can answer all your printing questions, and you can call them on the phone or hop on your horse and go see them, because they're your one-stop printing shop where they have something for everyone. Panhandle Printing and Design at 124 North Maple Avenue in Martinsburg. Call 304-267-7400. You can even find them online, too, if you want to. If you need printed materials, don't deal with some city slicker you'll never meet. Trust the folks at Panhandle Printing and Design.
Hi, this is Tom Bibby, and I'm the Republican candidate for the West Virginia House of Delegates for District 62. I'm running because I want to cut taxes, limit government spending, and reduce overregulation to promote economic growth and prosperity for West Virginia.
You know what you're getting with Tom Bibby. Someone who will listen and work hard to represent you and fight for increased accountability and transparency in government. Not a career politician, Tom is a retired military officer and pilot with over 45 years in the public and private sectors. You can find out more about Tom's campaign at tombibby.wv.com.
If you elect me as your delegate for District 62, my focus will be on creating jobs and the benefits that come from a vibrant economy, and I'll work hard to improve the quality of life for you and all West Virginians.
You can count on Tom Bibby to represent conservative values. He's pro-life, pro-family, pro-Second Amendment, pro-business, pro-taxpayer, and above all, he's pro-West Virginia.
To find out more about my campaign, please visit my website at tombibby.wv.com. That's tombibby.wv.com. Thank you for listening. I would appreciate your vote this November.
This ad is paid for by the candidate, Tom Bibby, with the help of many supporters.
We welcome you back into Miller Time on this Wednesday evening. We're with you till 7 o'clock tonight as we preview this Thursday and Friday's high school football.
Is that a little weird to say?
No, not this year.
I was going to say with the way this schedule, well, in Hedgesville, this isn't even because of the rain or anything. This is just naturally the way their schedule's set up, their third Thursday night game of the year, and they've had a Saturday game.
They've had two games that were originally scheduled on Thursday, the season opener and this one, and then a week ago had the games moved because of the threat of Hurricane Florence. Those went to Thursday. And
then the other Friday game was the game against Hagerstown.
That was postponed or suspended in the
go finish, what was it, the last
late
minute
fourth
and a half?
40. That was like 40 seconds. Yeah, it was not long at all.
I'm sorry, that lightning was close
seconds.
enough they couldn't have figured out 40 seconds.
So, yeah, they've actually played a little bit on a Saturday as well. So it has been a wacky schedule, no doubt about it.
Martinsburg's only played one Thursday game this week. Or this year, not this week. They haven't played any this week yet.
I was going to say Thursday's not until tomorrow. Are you making predictions of some sort?
Nah. I'm guessing
Prognostications?
they probably could have played this game on Monday and it wouldn't have affected anything.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Look.
That was probably a little cold, but at the end of the day, you look at the numbers and you look at the overall size, you look at the history, you look at the records. This game Friday isn't going to be pretty. This is going to be one of those games. There's probably going to be shortened second half clocks and a continuous running third quarter and fourth quarter clock.
It's an uphill climb.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Washington in their opener, and about 28 players dressed, and a lot of those very young players. We looked at the complete roster that had only about 8 seniors and 8 juniors, so only 16 upperclassmen. The remainder were like 18 sophomores and another 16 or so freshmen. So you're talking about a young football team. Even players that are going to be on the field that might be seniors or juniors do not have a lot of varsity experience. And so that's an uphill climb when you're facing a Martinsburg program that has lost only 7 games total since 2010, when the 2010 season started. Yeah. So it's an uphill climb. No doubt about it. We'll hear from both head coaches and get their thoughts. Let's start with Martinsburg and head coach David Walker. The Dogs have won 33 in a row, setting a new program mark for most consecutive wins, breaking a 32-game winning streak that got snapped at Westminster back in 2012. Martinsburg made sure that didn't happen on Friday as they traveled up near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to take on Academy Park, and the Bulldogs came away with a 42-20 victory. We started our conversation asking Coach Walker how he felt they played in that one.
I liked the way we competed. I thought we were playing a good football team. I thought our guys handled adversity well. We were uncomfortable, so I was glad to see us go into a place where we weren't real comfortable on a strange field in a strange area and perform pretty well. So I was glad the way we were able to adapt and overcome.
How about the way you were able to answer? It really seemed like each time one team would do something, the other found a way to make something happen, but you found more ways in order to get the win.
Well, I thought we just played well as a team. Defensively, I thought we played really well, other than a couple poor tackling there at times, but I thought overall we played pretty well defensively, even though we give up 20 points. Offensively, Grant just did a fantastic job. We had some struggles up front offensively with our snaps and some misassignments, but I thought offensively, Grant really played well, and Dwayne ran well, and I thought that we could have played better, but we played well enough.
When you look at the scores through your first 4 games, how good was it to be in a competitive back and forth type of game?
It was good. It was a lot of fun being in a good game, and we had some kids. It was good to see some kids step up. Trey Sign really stepped up and had a huge game for us. So just seeing the kids rise to the occasion and again get better.
What was it, as you look at the film and then look back at the game, that maybe led to such an opportunistic defense forcing 5 turnovers?
We just made plays. We had, forced a couple turnovers, had the block punt. So we just, we didn't do anything that we don't coach them to do. They just went out and made plays. So, we were able to catch them a couple times, take advantage of some of their miscues.
This week, you face a local opponent in the Washington Patriots and a team that's obviously going through some growing pains right now. How challenging is maybe this game to get up for, coming off of Academy Park and knowing right after this one is Sharando?
Yeah, it is. Our guys understand. They're not stupid. They know, what teams are doing well and what teams are struggling. So, and Washington is struggling, but right now, and I told our guys, our focus is on us. We got to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to do to make sure we get better this week. And, we have a game plan. We treat them just like we treat everybody else, but, you just have to make sure the kids understand they have to go out and put the same effort in practice every week.
5 weeks are in the books. How do you kind of grade this season to this point? And when you talk about going out and getting better, what are those areas maybe you need to work on through these next 5 games?
Well, Jason asked me this after the game, and I'm still going to stick with my B grade because I've watched a lot of film and seen the mistakes that we've made. I think in some areas we're an A. I think in some areas we're really doing well, and I think in some areas we may be even better than what we were, even last year in some aspects of what we're doing. So, I think we still need to improve up front on both sides of the ball. We've still had some miscues at center, and we've still making some mental mistakes that is disturbing, because the guys that are making some of these mental mistakes are probably a couple of the smartest kids on our team. So we're trying to fix that. But I think overall our quarterback play's been good. We've got 4 really good running backs, 3 that carry the ball pretty regularly. I think we're in pretty good shape. I think we're a pretty good football team, but there are some things that we can do better, and we're going to have to get better, because it's just going to get tougher for us as the weeks go on.
Coach, thank you for your time. We'll see you Friday night.
All right, thank you.
There you hear from Martinsburg head coach David Walker. Some of his thoughts coming off the win against Academy Park, heading into a matchup in Charlestown against the Washington Patriots on Friday night. All right, let's turn to the Patriots. Still looking for their first win this season after closing out last year strong, winning 3 of their last 4. They've hit that tough spot again with a young team. Put it together in over their last 34 games. Just those 3 wins, 31 losses. So it's a Washington program that is building. Coach Glenn Simpson and his staff certainly have these kids working hard and playing hard. And they've earned the respect of each of the area coaches and each of the coaches around the region in the teams that they have played. They will go out and they will play hard. They will play to win. Can they? And that's the biggest thing. They've so far been outmanned by the other teams that they've played.
And piggybacking off what you just said, each week when we talk to Coach Simpson, one of the first things he says is, I can't fault the effort of my players. And when you talk to coaches around the EPAC or around the region, like you just said, one of the first things they'll say after a game against Washington is, man, they never quit fighting. Yeah. We saw that against Hedgesville. They were down early, but they never quit fighting. But unfortunately, they have the heart of winners. They just don't necessarily have the numbers or have the height or the weight or, in some cases, the skill yet.
At least, and you said yet, and that's where I was going, at least not yet, and that's what Coach Simpson is hoping for. Look, you're young right now. We're going to take some lumps, but let's grow through this, learn from this, and maybe in a few years we'll be able to give out some of those lumps. Well, let's hear from Coach Glenn Simpson. The Patriots coming off a 45-8 loss at Clark County last week, but he's going to tell us maybe not quite as lopsided as that score may indicate.
Well, Clark County, of course, they run a single wing offense, and that's the only time you're gonna see that around here, anyways. When you play Clark County, and I thought our kids just played a tremendous game from an attitude and effort standpoint. The final score does not indicate how tough our kids played throughout that game. 3 late turnovers really put the game out of reach. And, those are things that obviously we can work on. But starting from that platform of great attitude and effort was tremendous last week.
As you've reached that midway point of the season, talk to us about the growth that you've seen from the beginning of training camp into week 1 and through the first 5 weeks.
Well, the main thing that has occurred, evidenced with this recent game against Clark County, was understanding the way the game has to be played in terms of your physical exertion. These guys have played hard, but some of these young guys don't know what it, or did not know what it meant to give a varsity level effort. And again, that's part of that maturation, understanding that your body can sometimes handle more than your mind gives it credit for. And so mind over matter, so to speak. And I think that's where they're starting to develop a little more mental toughness, a little more understanding of what it takes to be varsity athletes and to compete at a varsity level against some of the finest competition there is around. When you look at our schedule, there are no lightweights on our schedule. And so they're getting that baptism by fire, so to speak.
With that in mind, has it been a challenge at times to execute what you really want to be doing on both sides of the ball?
Oh, certainly. It is a challenge. At this point in our development, where our program is, we have a couple of seniors, a small handful of juniors, and we've got a fair number of sophomores. We're a really young team. So being able to compete against, young men who have been in their programs for 3-4 years, where all of your players have, that are on the field have been in their programs for 3 or 4 years, it makes it a challenge. But there will come a time where we're not the youngest and smallest team on the field. And when that time comes, I think we're going to be all right.
Let's look ahead to Friday night. You've got a tough matchup against the Martinsburg Bulldogs. What do you see in this one?
Well, I see what I've seen out of every Martinsburg team now. It seems like forever. I mean, my goodness, they're big, they're strong, they're fast. They just do some things with the great personnel that they have, well coached. I mean, they are just a tough out for anybody. It's hard to match up man to man on them in terms of position by position. They've got great depth everywhere, and their guys are just really, really good. And of course, their coaching staff is second to none. That team is always prepared.
You look at this past weekend, and Old Dominion scored a big victory and upsets over Virginia Tech that has a lot of people talking. Do you talk about those types of upsets in matchups like this to say, hey, guys, why not us?
Well, what I do talk about are the things that we can control, and that is the attitude and effort of our football team. We don't step on the field scared. We don't step on the field looking for the bad things to happen. We step on the field to take every play as it comes and to go as hard as we can for as long as we can.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you there on Friday.
All right, thank you very much.
There you hear from Washington Patriots head coach Glenn Simpson as they look forward to hosting Martinsburg Friday night at 7. Our pregame coverage will begin at 6 and Miller time at 5. And again, you can catch that game on Talk Radio WRNR as well as WRNR TV on YouTube and TV 10 on the cable system in Berkeley and Jefferson counties. We encourage you to tune in. And really, we encourage you to get on down and check out the action in person and see these two teams as they meet.
Well, a little bit closer than Philly.
Yeah, just a little bit. Only 2 other games involving Eastern Panhandle teams as Jefferson is on a bye this week. We'll hold the Cougars for last since they're off and just kind of lament a little bit with Coach Hunter about a tough loss against Kaiser last week. But up next, we'll turn to the Musselman-Appleman and hear from head coach Brian Thomas as they head into a big matchup at Morgantown. Stay tuned. We've got more coming. This is Miller Time.
Hello, this is Joe Manchin, and growing up in my hometown of Farmington taught me that people matter more than anything else. I've never cared what political party anyone belongs to, as long as they'll work with me to help West Virginia. I've been meeting with clergy and faith leaders all over West Virginia to talk about health care for people with pre-existing conditions. Patrick Morrissey's lawsuit would take away these protections. 800,000 West Virginians have a pre-existing condition, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, asthma, and cancer. Losing health care would be devastating for so many of our people. Patrick Morrissey is dead wrong, and he just doesn't know West Virginia. As West Virginians, we look after one another. That's why I'm also fighting for a strong military, for secured borders, keeping our promises to our veterans and minors, and to protect Social Security and Medicare for our seniors. I'm Joe Manchin, candidate for the United States Senate, and I approve this message.
Hello, racing fans. Get set for the best of thoroughbred racing action Saturday, October 13th at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. West Virginia Breeders' Classic 32 features local favorites vying for a year-end championship. Bring your family and friends for an exciting night of gaming, fine dining, and 9 action-packed races for West Virginia-owned, bred, and trained thoroughbreds. Post time is 7 p.m. at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. That's Saturday, October 13th. Make your plans now.
And they're off in the West Virginia Breeders' Classic.
I'm an official sounding scientist, and I'm here for a comfort experiment. We're going to recreate the way your home heating system works in your car. Crank up your heat. Blast it at your face. Starting to break a sweat? This is central heating. A Mitsubishi Electric Zone comfort solution with hyperheating allows you to get just the right amount of heat exactly where you need it. Fast. No cold drafts. It's comfort made personal. This concludes our little comfort experiment.
Take advantage of Mitsubishi Electric's 36-month 0% financing on qualifying systems at McRae Heating and Cooling. Celebrating 80 years in business with free estimates available online at McRaeway.com.
Do you hear that? Nothing beats the sound of summer unless it's finding a way to make cleaning your pool easier. Now you can with Pool Life. Our complete line of premium pool care products is the easiest solution under the sun for crystal clear, clean pool fun. Get the most brilliant clean ever seen all summer long with Pool Life. Only at fine pool dealers like John's Pool Supplies, close to Gold's Gym on Eagle School Road in Martinsburg. Ask about quality PDC hot tubs. Phone 267-2000 or go online at johnspoolsupplies.com.
We welcome you back into Miller Time on this Wednesday evening, a day early on our high school football previews. That's because there will be no Miller Time tomorrow evening. Matt and I are hitting the road, and we're heading to Kingwood and the Preston Knights game, hosting the Hedgesville Eagles. That's a 1 o'clock kickoff with a 12:30 pregame, and then we'll be on our way back, so we'll just have regular programming coming your way tomorrow evening at this time.
I don't know if we can call this out of the ordinary. We've done it 2 of the 5 weeks now?
Done what?
The Wednesday football preview.
No, that's true, because you had games moved to Thursday.
It's almost been the majority.
Midpoint of the season, it's been a weird season, no doubt about it, with all of the crazy weather. Yeah. All right, let's look at Musselman at Morgantown. The Applemen at 4-0 have won 20 of their last 26 games. They're a 61-28 winner against Princeton last week. And this is a key matchup. Morgantown won this game here last year by 10, 39-29. Musselman won up there the year before. So it's been the visiting team that's actually had the upper hand the last 2 times that these teams met, and that bodes well because Musselman's on the road.
Yeah, and I don't think Morgantown's as strong as it has been in the last couple of years, especially not as strong. I mean, they weren't overly strong last year. Got in with, 4 wins into the playoffs last year?
Something like that.
Was there 4 or 5?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
I think they were one of the 2 teams that got in with 4 wins last year. So not overly strong last year, but I don't think they're nearly as good this year.
Well, and Musselman, meanwhile, I think they're just as good as they were playing last year. Yes. I mean, they have really gotten off to a good start. They've played well defensively, and certainly offensively. They've been dynamic, averaging well over 40 points a game. So they're coming off of that win against Princeton. Let's find out from head coach Brian Thomas just how well they played to get that victory.
All right, great.
Get this recording. Check 3, 2, 1. That all looks good. And first, talk to us about 61 points in a win against Princeton last week. How'd you play in that game?
Yeah, honestly, people think I'm crazy for saying this, but that was our worst game. And people kind of think, maybe I'm making something up to keep our team motivated, but no, it was sloppy. We did a lot of sloppy things. We had a lot of sloppy penalties. I mean, just things that, dumb things that we need to fix. Having said that, I did tell the kids I was happy that we started off slow, and then second quarter found a way to turn it on a little bit, and we did execute some things. It wasn't all bad, but just. We do have to get better. I'm proud of the win, and I'm proud we're sitting here at 4-0, but at the same time, we got a tough part of our schedule coming up, not just the next one, but, our next 3 are really, really tough football games, and they're going to define us. So we have to clean some things up if we want to continue to have success.
heading into the second half of the season now, it's got to be nice to be going into that second half knowing you can work on things, but also scoring 61 points in a game that you just said struggled in.
Yeah, I mean, we do. I mean, we have a lot of good kids. We have a lot of good football players. You know, and I think, you know, both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, and special teams. You know, all three phases of the football. We're doing some really good things. But you know, one of the things we talked about yesterday in our team meeting is, you know, when you go against the caliber teams that we're about to play. You know, we got Morgantown this week, and you know, I don't like looking ahead, but you know, Hedgesville's still sitting on the schedule. You know, Wheeling Park's sitting on the schedule. We got some really good teams coming up ahead of us, and you know, even though we're doing good against these teams, we can't have some of the little small slip-ups. You know, in the games that we played in the past, yeah, you know, all due respect to the guys that we've played. You know, we messed up and then we're able to recover a little bit. You know, in these games coming up, you know, some of these little errors that we make, you can't just say, oh, we'll get that back, you know, because Morgantown turns your mistake into 6 points the other way, and they'll make you pay. So we got to play really smart. We just got to work on some really little things.
Speaking of Morgantown, they've won back-to-back games to come into this one at 3 wins and 2 losses. You've played this team each of the last couple of years. What do you see in this Morgantown team?
I mean, Morgantown's good. I mean, you sit there and say they're 3-2, and their 2 losses are to Fort Hill, Maryland, and to Steubenville, Ohio, who, you know, if most teams played, not every team, but, you know, if most teams played, then, you know, they're not going to be favored in those games. So they've lost to two really good football teams. I mean, this is a rivalry. I mean, you sit here and you look, you know, it's a healthy rivalry because, you know, me and Coach Lacey are friends, and you know, a lot of respect for each other. But at the same point, if you look at all our games, we actually picked them up the first year I was head coach. We put them on the schedule full time. So we've been playing them 6 years now. And it's probably the closest. I bet it's the closest game when you look at victory margins and total them all up, because, you know, we split a lot of contests. You know, we went to their place 2 years ago and won. They came here last year, knocked us off. You know, it's been one of those back and forth battles. So it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a physical game. I mean, they're very physical, and that's one of the things that we pride ourselves on. So it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a physical game. It's a tough place to play there. So, you know, we're going to have our hands full, and we got to play a really good football game.
What can you take away from last year's meeting where Morgantown got the better of you guys?
Well, you know, somebody else asked me that. It's tough, just because, you know, you do look at some things that happened last year, you know, and you do look at the fact that, you know, the physicality of the game and how tough they play us. But at the same point, you know, every team's different. I really don't talk a lot about last year just because, you know, we had a completely different – I mean, last year we were very senior-laden, and we lost a lot of those guys. And, you know, we got a lot of young kids this year. So I really don't you know, I really haven't even talked to the team about, you know, last year's game at all. You know, but, you know, I guess to answer your question, then, you know, the one thing that I do take is, you know, that they're well coached. They're always well coached. They're always very physical. You know, and we expect the same thing out of them this Friday night.
Coach, we wish you safe travels. Bring home a victory. We'll talk next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go. There is the conversation with Brian Thomas as he and the Applemen look forward to traveling to Morgantown and Pony Lewis Field on Friday night at 7 o'clock. That is a great place for high school football. I know you've not been. For those that have never gone, the old high school of Morgantown, 3 stories tall, sits on one side of the field. When they did the latest edition, which when I say latest, it's been a long time ago, but they created a cafeteria that wraps around the back end zone or out of one end of the field, so you can sit in the cafeteria and look down across the football field. And then the old gym is along the back side, so that opposite side from the school, they they put in bleachers and a press box. And then at the end opposite of where the school cafeteria is, in recent years, they built a brand new locker room facility, and they put up a giant scoreboard. You add the turf surface in there and everything else.
Completely closed-in stadium almost.
It is gorgeous. Now, the press box stinks. They totally did a horrible job of putting that in, and they put it in on an odd angle for where they put the scoreboard. So when we were up there the last time, which was a couple of years ago, the only way that we knew how much time was left in a quarter was Jason being our sideline reporter, because from our vantage point in the press box, I would have had to have leaned out so far of the window to look to my right that I would have had to have had Mike Jacobs holding my ankles to make sure I didn't completely fall out of the box.
That would have been funny.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, from your end, not from mine.
I'd have been laughing.
But anyway, yeah, so it's a beautiful facility. They do have some things they could work on, but great place to play and should be a good game. That'll be the one a lot of people will be paying attention to this weekend. Although Spring Valley and Capital 1 and 2 play, so that one might get a little more attention.
That may get a little bit of attention around the Mountain State.
Just a little. All right, we got Spring Mills at Boonesboro still to talk about, and we'll hear from Craig Hunter, head coach of Jefferson, as they are on a bye this week. And we still got a little baseball to talk about. Milestone last night for the Nationals, Max Scherzer. We'll talk about all of those things and more as we continue with more Miller Time.
I meet my buddies out on the lake.
CBS News special report. President Trump says Democrats are trying to destroy his Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh, with false accusations of sexual misconduct.
Schumer and his buddies are all in there laughing how they fooled you all. Let's just stop them. A big fat con.
He held open the possibility that Dr. Christine Blasey Ford's testimony to the Senate Judiciary Committee tomorrow could get him to withdraw the nomination.
Now, it's possible I'll hear that and I'll say, hey, I'm changing my mind. That is possible. We want to give them a chance to speak.
Mr. Trump meets with Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein tomorrow and said he prefers not to fire him over reports that Rosenstein suggested using the 25th Amendment to remove Mr. Trump from office.
My preference would be to keep him and to let him finish up. You know, I call it a witch hunt. And it is a witch hunt.
CBS News Special Report, I'm Pam Coulter.
Local forecast. Weatherman Bob Kukin.
We've got some showers around this evening, but they are coming to an end gradually, especially after midnight. Looking at lows of around 55, 56 degrees or so first thing tomorrow morning. A cloudy, cool day for tomorrow. Later in the afternoon, some more showers arrive, and we look for a high near 67. Periodic rain tomorrow night, lows in the mid-50s. Lingering showers Friday morning. I'm Bob Kukin, Talk Radio WRNR.
Why Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota in Martinsburg? Because we're a name you can trust. And you can trust that you'll always find a large selection of over 400 new Chevrolets and a wide selection of new Toyotas at unbeatable prices. How unbeatable? Well, we will not be beat on any deal on any new Chevrolet or Toyota. That's right. You will not find a lower price, guaranteed. From Chevy Cruzes, Malibus, Impalas, Equinox, Suburbans, Silverados, to Toyota Yaris, Corollas, Camrys, Avalons, and more. No one beats an Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota deal. And remember to check your mailbox for this month's specials and great savings. Simply put, if you're in the market or will soon be in the market for a new or newer vehicle, check out all that Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota has to offer. We're Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota in Martinsburg, or online at applevalleychevy.com. That's applevalleychevy.com. Apple Valley Chevrolet Toyota, a name you can trust.
Are you looking for a full-service web design company right here in the Eastern Panhandle? Then look no further than Pro Design LLC, specializing in web design and development, web hosting, and application development. Pro Design is a locally owned company serving local clients since 1997 with a reputation of quality, creativity, and personal touch. Let Pro Design build or redesign your dream website. Find them online at professionaldesign.com or phone 304-676-9940.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
Let's do NFL injuries first. Alshon Jeffrey cleared for contact, so good news for the Eagles. Also good news for the Jaguars. Running back Leonard Fournette was able to practice today. He has not been able to play in the last 2 games. Evan Ingram of the Giants going to miss about 2 to 4 weeks with an MCL sprain. Aqib Talib needs surgery tomorrow on his ankle. No timetable for his return. Marcus Peters still not officially ruled out for Thursday night's game, so we'll see what the Rams do there. And the Patriots are putting running back Rex Burkhead on the IR, so bad news gets worse in New England. Clemson senior quarterback Kelly Bryant, he is leaving the team, will transfer. Trevor Lawrence is now the starter. And over to baseball, the Blue Jays are parting ways with manager John Gibbons at the end of the season. I'm Keith Irizarry, and this is NBC Sports Radio.
W. Harley Miller Systems provides custom integration services such as home or office automation, audio-video distribution, home theater, networking, and much more. With a Control4 system, you can consolidate into a single and simple solution, eliminating the need for a table full of remotes or dozens of apps on your cell phone. Want to check on the house from work? Want to listen to your favorite music while cooking dinner? Want to enjoy your favorite movie in your own home theater? Contact W. Harley Miller to make your dreams come true. Phone 304-350-1931 or visit WHMSystems.com.
Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and David.
Senator Charlie Trump joins us. Wait a second, I should hit his button there. There you go.
Good morning.
I didn't hit your button and engage you right away.
I'm glad my colleagues in the Senate don't have a button where they can keep me turned off, too.
That'd be something, huh? Put a mute button in?
Yeah.
So who's the first senator you guys would mute when they start to talk?
That's a good question.
I have a feeling I know the answer to this.
No, I'm trained it would be me.
Eastern Panhandle Talk with Rob and David. What did you listen to last week?
Independence Day for disgruntled players, the unintended consequence of transfer reform. So, the takeaway from that, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
You know, I think it's just a thing. And by the way, I just posted it. It's live now on the site. I think the only thing...
And we welcome you back into Miller Time along with Matt Crawford. I'm Matt Miller. And,
I hate technology, by the way. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes computers don't quite click into the thing that you tell it to click into.
They like to have a mind of their own.
And, ooh, that's not good. Aren't there movies about that kind of stuff?
iRobot.
What do they call that? Artificial intelligence?
Yes. I believe that's what they would call that.
That's what they call some of my intelligence, too, I believe. That can't be really yours. It's got to be artificial. All right, let's continue our previews of high school football for this Friday night. Again, we're doing it on a Wednesday because no Miller Time tomorrow evening. We'll have high school football tomorrow. Hedgesville at Preston with the 1 o'clock kickoff. Pregame at 12:30. We'll be traveling back home, so it'll be regular programming. The Michael Medved show that will continue through the 5 o'clock hour, leading into NBC Sports Radio at 6 and 7. And then Thursday night football tomorrow night. Let's see, who is that again? The
Vikings and the Rams.
And Rams, which could actually be a pretty interesting Thursday. We've been cracking on the NFL for not great
This is what the Thursday night
matchups.
football matchup should be. Is talent like this,
but
not
it just
the
shouldn't
Jets
be.
and the Browns.
Because, you know,
not that there should be Thursday night football anyway.
Right. I'd rather see these two very good teams
on Sunday night or Monday night.
Yes, have a full week to prepare than the very short Monday, Tuesday, travel Wednesday, and/or walkthrough Wednesday. Oh, play Thursday.
That is why you don't get paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's smarter people that make those decisions than us.
I guess.
Or just people who think they're smarter.
I question their artificial intelligence sometimes as well. All right, Spring Mills looking to snap a 2-game slide. They'll be at Boonesboro Friday night. The Warriors are 2-2, and, well, they've dropped their last game also. They lost their opener 1-2 in a row, and then last week they lost at Middletown. Now, that's not necessarily a bad loss. Middletown is generally pretty good. All right, as for Spring Mills, well, they're coming off a loss at South Hagerstown, Maryland, 47-17 last week. And as we caught up with head coach Chad Williams, we asked him how that one played out.
You know, I thought we played, you know, a decent ball game early. You know, down 20-17, probably midway through the third quarter. You know, and then actually had the ball down in their red zone, ready to score to take the lead. A couple costly penalties there, pushed us back, forced us to punt. They blocked the punt, and then the whole game changed after that. And you know, obviously, wasn't real happy with anything I saw the rest of the night after that.
Was that a matter then, do you think, of the team just kind of getting down from what happened at that point?
You know, I really don't know. I'm not sure exactly what happened, and you know, that's something we've got to work to correct here, because it was really that one play was a turning point in the game. You know, we've got the ball in their red zone. I'm pretty sure we're down 20-17 at that point. You know, we came out in the start second half. We scored. We forced them to punt. We drove again. And, you know, a couple penalties kind of took that away from us. And then next thing you know, we get the punt block, they score, and the wheels just kind of fell off after that, in all honesty.
When you look at your offense the last couple of weeks after starting the season pretty strong, has it just been a lack of execution the past 2 weeks, or defense is starting to adjust a little bit to the offensive style you guys run?
No, I mean, I don't think we're really doing anything differently right now than we were early in the season. I didn't really think we were running that good offense early in the season. To be quite honest with you, we're struggling with a few issues, I think, on the offensive side right now. The biggest one is just the inability to find any kind of a run game that can consistently work for us. And, you know, we've just got to, as a team, I think the issue offensively and defensively is just our physicality, our ability to block, our ability to tackle, and just our ability to play physically.
This week, you're on the road again at Boonesboro. What do you know about these Warriors?
They are, you know, a Wrnr Tv style football team, very disciplined, very old school approach to the game. You know, I'm real impressed with what I've seen out of them on film. You know, for our sake, they are pretty much the polar opposite to us. You know, we're going to be playing this week down 4 starters on each side of the ball. So, you know, we've got to shore up a lot of things that we're doing, and we need to come out and have a more disciplined approach and play a more physical brand of football, you know, in order to be able to come away with a win this week.
Are those starters that are out this week due to injury, or is there disciplinary action being taken?
Yeah, I'd rather just not talk about it. You know, we're just we got 4 starters on either side of the ball going, and you know, we'll play next man up.
Is that, I was just going to ask that very question, next man up. Are you anxious to see what some of these younger guys do stepping into those roles?
Yeah, we're going to have a few guys on the field who I think are definitely ready for it, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Well, Coach, we wish you all the best in that one. We'll talk next week.
All right, sounds good. We'll talk to you then.
Chad Williams, head coach of the Spring Mills Cardinals, as they get ready to play at Boonesboro. That'll be Friday night. Game time is at 7 o'clock. Boonesboro, by the way, won this matchup last year 28-26. So we'll see if it is a tight one again. As he mentioned, 2 contrasting styles of play. We've heard a lot about Wrnr Tv football the last couple weeks.
We have. I mean, I grew up playing Wrnr Tv football.
I know, your eyes light up every time
I hear the double wing or the Wrnr Tv, I go, oh, that's fun right there. Yeah, I mean, and we were the only school that did that in our area. So how teams up here preparing for the Wrnr Tv or the double wing, whatever you want to call it, that was teams all around us that would play us every week, because everybody had already, because we were the smallest school in the county. So everybody had already gone to the spread or the pro-style offenses, and we're sitting there going, all right, we're going to line up between the hash marks and try to run for 400 yards a game.
Which, as an offensive lineman...
Oh, you'd lick your chops.
Yeah.
You'd love it. Pulling through a hole every time, hitting a linebacker or safety. It's great.
All right, let's go ahead and take a break. It's almost 15 minutes before 7 o'clock, so we'll get in another break and then come back to hear from Jefferson head coach Craig Hunter, as they are on a bye this week. And then we've got one final short break to take before we talk just a little bit of baseball. Stay tuned. That comes your way next on Miller Time.
Life is complicated, but your finances shouldn't have to be. At BCT, we simplify your financial life. Bank of Charlestown is a locally owned community bank with 7 conveniently located offices serving the Eastern Panhandle of West Virginia, Middleburg, Virginia, and their newest office in Hagerstown, Maryland. With over 140 years of experience, BCT is the tri-state area's choice for fast, convenient, and hassle-free banking solutions. Whether you are a high school senior looking for a student checking account, a college graduate purchasing a new car, a first-time home buyer, or investing for retirement, BCT has flexible solutions to fit your lifestyle. BCT is committed to providing everyday ways to simplify your financial life. Also, make sure you are following BCT on Twitter and Instagram at MyBCT or like their Facebook page to see how BCT reinvests local deposits back into the communities they serve. BCT, we simplify your financial life.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hear that sound? That's the sound of someone looking for the perfect house. For most people, a house is the biggest investment they'll ever make, and they'll spend almost as much time as money to find it. But you don't have to. One click to homesandland.com, and the perfect house finds you. Homesandland.com has thousands of listings from the area's top realtors with full-color photos and detailed property descriptions. You can search by bedrooms, by price, and choose just the features you want. A few clicks, and you'll get listings and contact information for homes perfect for you. And Homes and Land magazine makes it even easier with full-color layouts and all the information you need to find your next home. For a free copy, call 1-800-277-7800 or visit homesandland.com. Homes and Land, connecting home buyers and sellers for over 30 years.
Talk to your realtor today about Homes and Land of the Eastern Panhandle or phone 304-579-8510.
Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party. An epic journey awaits you. Help your favorite Disney friends follow the clues that will take you on an extraordinary adventure where you might just find the magic begins with you. At Disney on Ice presents Mickey's Search Party.
Opening night tickets $15. Restrictions and additional charges may apply. Playing at Eagle Bank Arena October 3rd through 7th.
Crime is on the rise. Shield yourself with a new Smith & Wesson MP 2.0 shield, chambered in 9mm, 40 Smith & Wesson or 45 ACP. Valley Guns 2 has a wide selection of Smith & Wesson handguns, including the Model 60 and 640 Pro Series revolvers. For the ladies, there's the Smith & Wesson 380 Shield Easy. It's easy to load, easy to shoot, and easy to carry. For the full line of Smith & Wesson handguns, head to Valley Guns 2, Exit 5 off I-81, Inwood, West Virginia. Online at valleyguns2.com.
After removing your creme brulee from the oven, your dessert should look just scrumptious. Now sprinkle with some sugar. And use your torch to braise it to a golden, crispy brown.
Disasters happen. Fire, water, and natural disasters. Tell your insurance provider you prefer Blue Ridge Property Restore. Blue Ridge Property Restore, getting you back from disaster faster.
Join us next week when we tackle Baked Alaska.
Rolling, 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 rolling.
We welcome you back into this Wild West version of Miller Time.
Rawhide.
Along with Hoss, Matt Crawford, I'll be Little Joe, Matt Miller. Nice music selection.
I like to keep you on your toes.
I like that. I like that. Although right now the Jefferson Cougars would like to get on a roll. And it's just been a rough time. And we've heard from Coach Craig Hunter throughout the course of this season. They've got to catch a break at some point in time. They've got to make a break because, you know,
they caught a break last week and couldn't capitalize.
They had a lead up at Kaiser, and ultimately the Golden Tornado came swirling back to get the 30.
I will never not laugh when you say the mascot is the Golden Tornado.
31-24 was the final as Kaiser got the win. Jefferson, again, on a bye this week. And when we caught up with Coach Hunter, we asked him about just, what he saw in his team in a difficult loss.
I thought, we came out energetic in the first half, played extremely well, executed the game plan really well. Came out the second half, the first drive, once again executed the game plan, started executing the game plan, went down the first drive and scored. Came back, stopped them, had a punt, then we fumbled, and then it seemed like from that point on, it's just when, mistake after mistake after mistake just started accumulating for us. Nothing to take away from Kaiser playing well because they've been able to, they've pretty much been I watch them be sometimes the cardiac kids in their games. So, they come back from the dead and win games. So, but it seems like we just sometimes, like I keep saying, we just can't get out of our own way sometimes to get over that hump. And that seemed like the process that happened toward the end of the game.
How much does this one hurt? Obviously, your kids have worked so hard and have been right there, and you seem to have that opportunity, and it just didn't go your way.
It stung real bad, to think that we were right there about to get the victory, and then it just felt like, for somebody to pull the rug out from underneath of you, or, for get the football pulled away from you like Charlie Brown, and that's how it feels. Kind of what it felt like, but the kids played hard. It just seems like sometimes that the ball just don't bounce our way, and sometimes things just don't go our way at certain times in the game.
At the same time, how much are you able to just continue to encourage them? Look, it sounds like when you guys were executing, you were getting the job done, so just keep at it. It's sometimes it's hard when we have everybody's on the field all the time. So, we don't have a lot of kids off on the sideline, so they're just continually on the field. So to try to keep them, the assistant coaches are trying to keep them going, trying to keep them pumped up while we're trying to still, trying to push the game plan through and try to get them back on the track and thinking we can get them back on the track. Like I said, it's just like when the worst things that could go wrong just seem like they go wrong for us at the most inopportune times. Like the course of the game, we're driving and we get a snap over the quarterback's head. And that was pretty much could have been our game-winning drive. We were actually driving pretty well when that happens. Or the onside kick that bounces up and hits a bad hop and hits our guy in the helmet and goes off his helmet. So, and it's just things like that. You just don't expect those things to happen, but they're happening. When you look at this bye week, number one, does it kind of come at a good time? And number two, how do you approach it at this point in the season?
It comes at a good time. We can all reflect. The coaching staff is going to reflect. We're going to go back to, get a chance to go look at some of our stuff that we've done in the coaching staff, our tendencies, what we're doing. We've been able to try to go back and check ourselves, see what we need to do better. And it's a time for us to maybe get back to basics. It's a time that if we need to make some changes, it's a good time. We got a week to actually try to make some changes. I don't know if the weather's going to help us out with it, but, we get a chance to see if we need to make some changes. Now we can actually make some changes that we need to make, whether it be personnel-wise, whether it be maybe some scheme things-wise that we might want to do better. We get a chance now, after a few games, to see what we can correct on. We've really got time to actually correct it.
Well, Coach, enjoy this week off. We'll look forward to talking with you again next week, headed into that game against Spring Mills.
All right, thank you.
There you hear from Craig Hunter, head coach of the Jefferson Cougars, again on a bye this week, looking for their first win of the season right now at 0-5. All right, we have previewed all of the upcoming high school football games involving the Eastern Panhandle Athletic Conference teams. Again, no Miller time tomorrow. We'll have Hedgesville at Preston at 1 o'clock with a 12:30 pregame, part of the Buckwheat Festival. Looking forward to see if we can get a buckwheat cake on the way out the door.
You've never had one.
As far as I know, I never have. Before we leave football and take a final break and come back and talk a little baseball, Jason Colrick chimed in as we were discussing the NFL Thursday night game.
What issue does he have with me now?
Vikings and Rams, and we said, this looks like it could be a pretty good game. He says, hey, the Vikings lost to the Bills. How good a game will it be?
Yeah, but the Vikings are a good team. The Vikings are at least a talented team.
So as long as one team is considered decent. But does that make it a good matchup?
I think it'll be good. I think the Vikings played extremely bad last week.
They did.
I don't think that's the consistent
And the
Vikings.
Bills played a little inspired.
Yeah. Josh Allen, a quarterback.
He looked good,
their new rookie phenom.
He played well.
He was my favorite quarterback coming out of the draft. Just because he wasn't talked about. I thought coming out of Wyoming, he had the best quarterback build, and I thought he was the most pro-ready. But coming out of a school like Wyoming, you're not going to get a lot of NFL looks right off the bat. But I thought he had the ability to be maybe not quite as successful right off the bat as Baker Mayfield, just because he's not a dual threat guy like Baker's going to make some splashes with his legs, too. But I thought down the road, you may look at this quarterback class and say Josh Allen was the best quarterback come out of the 2018 NFL Draft.
Well, and you mentioned coming out of a small school or a school like Wyoming that doesn't get the attention, getting word earlier today, Miles Humphrey of the Shepherd University Rams released from the practice squad by the Baltimore Ravens today.
Yeah, sad for him. The run's not over. He can get picked up next week. Rob Mario was talking about that this morning, that it could be a situational practice squad release and pick up, and Miles could be right back on that practice squad next week, but just not the way you want to see him end at this point in the season.
Yeah, they brought in a defensive back and removed Miles, who was serving as more of like a defensive end / outside linebacker. So a different position that they moved on to the practice squad. We'll keep an eye on it, and hopefully Miles will get that opportunity yet again to be a part of the Ravens or another NFL team. We got one more break to take. When we come back, it's raining in D.C. That means they're going into a rain delay. And the Nationals have the lead. They're in the 8th inning. You think both of these teams are kind of going to...
Call it.
Yeah, can we just end this thing? Neither of us are going anywhere. We'll tell you about it and talk about a milestone last night in a Nationals game for Max Scherzer. That comes your way next as we wrap up Miller Time.
You're doing okay today, but let's take a little trip 5 years into the future. You're faced with funeral expenses for your loved one. You've got paperwork and logistics and scheduling, a lot of hassle. But a little forward thinking now can save you a lot of heartache later. It's easier than you think. We're Brown Funeral Homes, family owned, in business for over 135 years. Think smart, think ahead. Brown Funeral Homes, Martinsburg, Inwood, and Charlestown, Ranson.
Grab a seat at the tables each week with House of Cards. Former Yankee beat writer and author of Dueling with Kings, Daniel Barbarisi.
I was a baseball writer, and how do guys should be so good at this daily fantasy sports baseball thing? And that's what I was very, very wrong about.
Scott Ian from Anthrax.
I found a lot of similarities between playing poker and playing guitar.
Director of the House, starring Will Ferrell, Andrew J. Cohen.
You just write a script, and then you make a movie, and it sort of takes care of that anxiety.
Saturdays, 8 a.m. on Talk Radio WRNR, your source for local talk, news, and sports.
Road again.
Yeah, we'll be on the road tomorrow. So will the Hedgesville Eagles. We wish them traveling mercies and safety, and the same hopefully as we make that trip. And we'll bring you the game back right here. 12:30 the pregame, 1 o'clock is the kick on TV 10 and Talk Radio WRNR. Hey, the Washington Nationals, they are in a rain delay. They're in the 8th inning, and the Nationals hold a 9-3 lead over Miami. Two teams that are going nowhere fast. You hope this rain delay does not last extremely long, and they are able to wrap that one up. There was a milestone last night. Let's take it to Charlie Slows and Dave Jagler with the call. A big moment for the Nationals' Max Scherzer.
Scherzer stares in for the sign. He's ready. The 3-2 pitch coming home. Swing and a miss. He got him on a slider. And there it is. Max Scherzer's 300th strikeout here in 2018. And this crowd will salute the great Max Scherzer. He is the 36th pitcher in the modern era of baseball to strike out 300 batters in a season. And he will soak in the applause.
Scherzer becomes just the 17th pitcher since 1900 to reach 300 strikeouts in a season. Puts him in some pretty good company, joining Randy Johnson, Curt Schilling, Clayton Kershaw, and Chris Sale as the 5th to do it since the 2000 season.
That's good company to be in.
Absolutely it is. Now, it also adds to just how impressive the tomorrow's date in sports history was that you mentioned earlier.
Nolan Ryan having 383.
83.
Yeah.
83 more than Max Scherzer. That's incredible. So the 300 strikeouts, the most in the National League. Scherzer's 300 strikeouts, it says, are the most in the National League this year. 41 more than Jacob deGrom, who is also going to be considered for the Cy Young.
Now, is that the second closest is deGrom?
It just says...
That's DeGrom's the second closest.
It just the line simply reads and 41 more than that of New York
So
Yankees.
I guess they're just comparing.
Writing. I don't know if they're comparing or if they're saying that's the difference between number 1 and number 2.
Because that would be insane. If that was the difference between number 1 and number 2, that would be insane.
Scherzer at 34, it says, is the oldest pitcher in the modern era to record his first 300 strikeout season. The prior was Mike Scott, who was 31 back in 1986. So usually you see these numbers, with a younger pitcher, but Scherzer showing he has gotten almost better with age. He's like a fine wine.
One of the couple of bright points you can look at for this Nats team this year.
Absolutely. And you look at now 18 wins on the season and say he should have more than 20 wins because they lost a handful of games in which he gave up only a couple of runs, and yet they couldn't get enough offense. So congratulations to Scherzer. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Stay with us. We've got NBC Sports Radio coming up next. This is Miller Time and Talk Radio, WRNR Martinsburg.
Here's your local news from Talk Radio WRNR. The West Virginia Department of Transportation, with approval from